One of the things I want to say, this is the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. movement, Dr. MLK Jr. movement on Mondays on Block Talk Radio, and also with the Crusade of Justice with Reverend M. Earl Sarden. That's SADONN, Crusade of Justice, community organization, and it's talking about equality in jobs. I'm going to take it from here. The Seed of Abraham Ministry here in Chicago and the Dr. MLK movement, and where we at for us doing something in the movement. I want to talk about the Dr. King movement and where do we go from here. We are running into a lot of violence in our community, a lack of jobs and equality that Dr. King stood for. And one of the things I want to share with you tonight, that throughout of America, we have always been the first fired and the last hired. And when we talk about the Dr. King movement, we're talking about the movement of people that is hungry, people that are misplaced, people that don't have jobs, people that are sleeping under viaducts, people sleeping in portable boxes, people sleeping in abandoned buildings, and the lack of jobs. We cannot afford to bring other people in the country when we have not serviced the people that's already here, from Vietnam, from Korea, from Afghanistan. We have to service those that are in Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana. This is Bishop Turner. Monday night, Martin Luther King Jr. movement. That's from 11 to 12. Dr. King said we got a way to come. I want to bring some things to you tonight where you might call me at 773-629-0005, and you might want to discuss this with me because I want to share some things with you with the Dr. King movement and with the Crusade of Justice. From the Dr. King movement, I'm going to deal very briefly with the housing. We need a new housing chief in Washington to deal with putting people back in their homes and trying to get people back justice. We need somebody in the labor department to talk about jobs, bringing jobs back to Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, throughout this country. We need that. And Dr. King will be on top of that. And we need an economic charge. We need the banks to free up some money where we can claim our homes that were foreclosed on in 2001, 2005, 2007, and 2014. We don't have no homes because they all been foreclosed on by the banks. And how crooked the banking industry was doing. People lost jobs and homes during the banking crisis. So during the Dr. King movement era, we marched for open housing. We marched for people to get mortgages and get homes. And we marched for that throughout this country. Now, I want to say to you, dealing with the police crisis real quick, what we have to do in law enforcement, we should have community justice. What I mean, every police that is a policeman need to have a camera on, need to have a camera in the car, but also they need to have a community review board. It needs to be citizens of the community that will be able to make a decision to see if the police is doing a good job. That's all over the country. And that's what has to be done from the FBI and the Justice Department. The killing that's going on in Chicago and Ferguson and throughout this country, the killings up in New York, up in Boston, Well, I'm talking about law enforcement supposed to serve and protect, and they're not doing that. And this is what got to be done. We have to set up a community task force in each city, in each county, in order to monitor police. It reminded me uh, when when Emmett Till and Medgar Evers got killed, and right in Mississippi, sheriff and police were shooting citizens because they wanted the right to vote, right in Mississippi and Louisiana and Arkansas, Chicago. So that happened. So we back in 2014 talking about stop the killing, save the babies, talking about uh, no no peace, no justice. Yes, we got to have peace and we got to have justice, but it's got to be done in a proper way. We have to stop the police in their tracks and make them do their job. And other policemen cannot stand by that their fellow policemen make the whole force look bad because they want to run together. That have to change. And that's what we're talking about tonight. The Dr. Martin Luther King movement. The movement, Dr. King was assassinated, but the movement is still alive. Those that need homes, those that need jobs, those that need to eat, and we're about people going to bed hungry each night, people going to bed with no jobs, and people, you got 95% of black males in jail because of mediocre crime, until the justice system moves to the point where it can be equal and fair. And throughout America, there will be no peace and no tranquility until we begin to fairly move fairly to open up. Racism is still deep, Jim Crow is real deep, but we have to move beyond that and try to open up some doors for people. And the Dr. King movement is that we're trying to bring people together in Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana. I want to talk a little bit about what we're talking about. We're talking about people that was hung, people that were shot, people that was murdered, women and men, because of their race. Whole families were misplaced because of their race. You can't get past that. That happened. You can't get past that men that was hung in Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana, and even in Indiana was hung by the tree. And you can't get around that many suicides that happened. We had 6 million blacks on their way from Africa, and 6 million was killed and lynched and made suicide. After the rest got here, we have been fighting for equality ever since. It's something about the psyche of the black man. It's something about laws made in place for you not to be equal. And some of these same corporations that we patronize have upheld slavery back in the day. So our people must be free. As I talk tonight, I feel that we must boycott intelligently. We must begin to resist the killings of our babies. We must resist the crime in our community. How you do that? Create some jobs for people that need to work. Now, when I look at the situation in America, we don't own any grocery stores or liquor stores, not because we can't, we want. We don't own any major car dealership like Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors. And we're still buying Ford, Cadillac, and General Motors. We're still buying from them. They have made to put blacks in as equal partners. So we got to talk about economic together. We're talking about we have to share a piece of the pie. The only way we can do that is being part of the company, CEO, vice president. And we were talking about owning something. In our community, we got McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, White Castle, Subway, and we have Dunkin' Donuts. These corporations is not paying the honest wage they ought to pay. They got people working and not paying them like they ought to. So we're still in an economic crisis where people are working, but they're not getting paid a fair wage. Across the board, the minimum wage should be $21 all over America because we the country earned it. We built this country. Black hands built this country from scratch. We built America. Our ancestors built America. And after we built it, they didn't need us because of the psychology that was to put us away. So they dealt with us with economics. The economics didn't work out. After the economics didn't work out, the psychology they put on us didn't work out. And the theology they put on us didn't work out. So we turned that theology around to being strong, to building homes, buying land, buying property, owning business. So the theology that was enslaved us freed us. So as we was freed from the sociology that they put on us, they moved us to another level. So they made a blanket indictment. All black men was criminal and all black folks was criminal. That's insane. That's not real. We're more intelligent than that. And I'm asking you to get ready. This is Bishop Turner from the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. movement. And I'm glad that you come to our movement. Come every Mondays from 11, come from 10 to 11, Dr. King movement. We're talking about jobs, economic, business, education. And Detroit is a good point to show you how racism and politics work. In Detroit, they said Detroit was bankrupt. You got Chrysler, Ford, and General Motors, $3 companies. They're not going nowhere. So they are cleaning Detroit out. People running think Detroit is bankrupt. You got the baseball team is still there. The football team there. You got Chrysler and Ford, they're not moving. So that was a big lie that was told to the people of Detroit. Detroit is up and coming and going. It's the most city. Detroit, every company there. Ford is a $1 trillion company. General Motors is a $1 trillion company. Chrysler is a $1 trillion company. So they're not going nowhere. So Detroit is on its way back. God bless you about that. I want to say about Chicago. In Minnesota, St. Paul, Indianapolis is growing, but we got to be a part of that growing process. Here in Chicago, Ron Emanuel is the mayor. He have already laid 3,000 people off from education. He already have shut down 75 to 80 schools, and he have turned the school system upside down. He's not doing anything to bring Chicago back for the people. He's concerned about the business people of the city, not the people that put him in office. So that would be a move from the Dr. King movement to march against him, to campaign against him, to open some doors up where we can move to the next level. The Dr. King movement is a movement for you. If you'd like to join the Dr. King movement, call me, get in contact with me. Go to my website, thecedarabrahamyellowsite.com, and say, call me or email me. Say, Bishop, I'd like to be a part of the Martin Luther King Jr. movement for justice. The Dr. King, the MLK movement for justice. And I want you to be a part of that. I want your children to get a decent education. I want you to be able to have your own house, be able to have money in the bank, and be able to control something in the neighborhood. That's what we're all about. And I want to share with you that we said that this is the season for things to open up. As it opens up, it'll be a breakthrough for you. As it opens up, it'll be a deliverance for you. So if you come to our website, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. movement, and I want to salute Dr. M. Errol Sarden of the Crusade of Justice. No justice, no peace. and he was 90 years old before he went to the other side. But I feel the spirit is real, and I feel Dr. King spirit is real. I want young men in college, young women in college, to begin to see what you can do to make a difference and a change. And this is the Dr. King movement, and I want you to be involved with us each and every Monday from 11 to 12. From 10 to 11, the Dr. King movement, talking about, and you go to our Blog Talk Radio, it's Blog Talk Radio, Martin Luther King Jr. movement, from 10 to 11, every Mondays. Call a friend, call a neighbor, and listen. Maybe you can call in. Maybe you have something to say. And we talk about crime in the neighborhood, we talk about more jobs. We talk about making a difference. And I can't do it without you. Dr. King couldn't do it without you. So I need your input to call me and say, Bishop, we need this. If you need to investigate a store that's dirty, if you need to go and see if things going right, selling dope on your corner, selling reefers and cigarettes on your corner, children getting molested, and teachers not teaching the right thing, call the Dr. King movement. That's Dr. MLK Jr. movement for justice. Crusade of Justice. Give us a call, and we will work out something for you. I want you to go knowing son and knowing this is Bishop, and I'm the CEO of Martin Luther King Jr. movement. So I want to be a part of every neighborhood, every community. I want to come to you, and because I'm tired of going to funerals. I'm tired of our young people being killed and being kicked out of school with no tolerance. We have to change that. Only can change if we come together. Do you know, from 1955, we done lost homes, foreclosed. We have less black people in homes than ever was now because they lost, foreclosed the bank over. The bank got $1 million from the government that they never put in. Chrysler and Ford got $1 million. Each has $3 million. That's $3 trillion they got from the government. They never did do nothing with that money. They have vandalized the community. And any business in the community should give back to the community. If it's Chrysler, if it's Ford, if it's General Motors, if it's here in Chicago, they should give back to the community and help. The banks of Illinois should give back to create some homes. And the mayor of the city of Chicago is not doing nothing to help the poor people, the people that ain't got jobs. So we getting ready to move on that, and we need your support. This is Bishop coming from the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. movement on Mondays from 10 to 11. God bless you. Get ready.